I'd just mopped the deck, and yet there were clear footprints across the wood, leading off the boat along the jetty, disappearing halfway down. And I'll always be grateful to him. But what exists here on our patch? Well, we've heard of guardian angels. What about a guardian demon? Guardian angels, well established, but only ever in Christian circles. As most churches are wary of broadcasting their universal belief in ghosts, they had to dress up their appearances with a biblical theme. Anyone seeing a ghost was, in fact, according to their church, witnessing the apparition of an angel. Diane Matthews was a staunch Catholic and a senior consultant in a hospital. No fool, having studied theology to degree level and was educated to the highest standards. So when she lost her parents, she was at a very low ebb and needed support from her church after seeing something in her house. The Catholic priest told her it was merely her guardian angel sent by Jesus to look after her at this, her time of need. And she must admit, this initially calmed her, and yet, why was it that when she had seen this dark figure, she had felt fear? It was a tall, black, intimidating creature with piercing eyes that seemed to stare through her. Each Sunday at church, the priest asked if the angel was still there, and each time Diane affirmed its presence. And her spiritual guide, the Catholic priest, said how pleased he was, testifying that this was absolute proof of God's great love for her. On returning to her house, she saw that her favourite picture of her parents had been thrown through the glass of her cabinet, and there was glass everywhere. She was sure that she'd been burgled, as another house on her estate had been cleaned out. Yet the doors and windows were all secure, and nothing had been taken. That night in bed, she heard something downstairs, something walking about. She put on her dressing gown, and despite an overwhelming feeling of foreboding, she made her way downstairs. And there, in the living room, was the figure, completely unfazed by her walking in on it. The glass coffee table was upside down, ornaments scattered, and the newly reframed photograph of her parents had been broken again. Diane screamed at this thing, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" The face contorted into a smile and started moving towards her, getting up so close she could smell its foul breath. "It came at me grinning like a fool," she said, "and I panicked and I fell over backwards. This thing was standing over me. It was solid. I felt it push me, and it held up its fist. Yet the second before it could hit me, my neighbour began pounding on my window, shouting and crying out. That very split second, the black figure evaporated, and we both saw it happen. My neighbour said, 'What the F was that?' To this day, I have no idea. I moved into my parents' house, even though it was smaller, but at least I could live there alone. I only returned once to collect my furniture, and the figure was clearly seen by my 3 friends and 2 removal men. It smiled and stood in a corner of the upstairs hall. I had a few coats in the cupboard behind where it stood. They're still there. None of us wanted to get them badly enough. So maybe you've got a guardian angel.